Greetings everyone, namaste. Today I will be guiding you through a restorative yoga practice. So restorative yoga is a very gentle and slow yoga practice. Props are needed for this practice, so I'll walk you through what you'll need. Even if you don't have store made or bought props, I will show you what you can use at home, because I wouldn't leave you hanging like that or make you have to go out and buy something. So I'll talk to you about what props you'll need, and then you can go ahead and pause me and grab those. But just a few words about restorative yoga and why it is good. So restorative yoga is often the toughest for people with a no pain, no gain mentality towards health and fitness. It is very hard for some of us to slow down and to pause. However, restorative yoga is really good for everybody because it helps us to stretch with zero effort and zero strain. So the props provide the support you need to stretch in a really relaxing and healing way. So it has something to offer for everyone. Also, it helps to restore mobility in the hips and in the lower back, which is good for overall health. So restorative yoga, we need props, right? So you will need a bolster, such as what I have here. You might not have a bolster, that's okay. If you want to buy one, you can buy something not too fancy for $30 to $40. I like the kind that have a cover that you can take off and throw in the washing machine if you want. However, if you have thinner blankets, and most of us do, that will suffice. So this is a thinner blanket of my daughter's. I have folded it 3 or 4 times the long way. So this works very similarly to what our bolster would do there. Also, we'll be needing 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, I suggest smaller pillows like couch cushions. So those are what you can use for your practice. So take time, go get what you need, fold your little blankies, grab your pillows so that you either have a bolster and 2 blocks, or a blanket, or 2 blankets maybe folded, depending on the thickness of your blanket, and 2 pillows. Okay? So I'm going to guide us through our first restorative yoga posture, and it is a restorative child's pose. So you're going to line up your bolster with your torso straddling, coming to a straddling position, and then you're going to lay your body on that bolster. Okay, so bringing your right cheek to the bolster or the blanket if that's what you prefer to use, or if that's what you have at home. Then closing the eyes, and feel free to shift around in the hips. Do what you need to so that it does feel truly supported. Now, this might not feel truly supported for some of you, so you might need to grab another blanket and stack it on top. The idea is to build up and to fill that space between your body and the floor. So, finding where you need to be, settling in, closing your eyes. I will mind the time. I encourage you to just become aware of your breath and your breathing and allow your attention to rest on the breath. Allowing the inhales and exhales to slow down. Just breathing here for a few moments. I'll let you know when it's time to turn your head. Take a nice inhale And as you exhale, just gently turn your head to the other side. Take a nice slow inhale. And as you exhale, slowly come out of that supported child's pose. Sliding your bolster or your blankets aside, whatever you use for your child's pose. We are now going to take a nice supported stretch for the hips. So, grabbing your couch cushions, if you're using those, I would suggest 2, maybe even 3, depending on the thickness of your pillows. Mine are kind of flat, so I would probably need 2 or 3. But I do have a block, so that's what I'm going to use. Lying on our backs. So bending the legs, lengthening the spine, taking your blocks or your pillows, and supporting the pelvis. You don't want the block, if you have a block right in the lower back, that won't feel good or supportive. You want it to be right underneath the pelvis, okay? So you can play with the height of your block. You know, so even if you have mobility to have the block at the highest height, you know, I don't necessarily encourage that. You might not be relaxing and restorative, and that's what this practice is for, to nurture and encourage that. But play with what height you want the block to be at. Same if you're using the pillows. Play with how many that you're going to be stacking to support the hips. And allow the arms to come down at your sides. Soften the shoulders, soften the neck, soften the face. And, gently rooting the feet down to the earth. Turning your awareness back to your inhales, back to your exhales. Allowing those in-breaths to be a little bit slower. Letting it take a little bit longer to fill the lungs. And allowing the exhales to be more thorough, to also become slower. Very good. Taking a nice slow inhale. As you exhale, gently releasing whatever you had underneath the pelvis and very slowly rolling the spine back down to the ground. Just briefly hugging the knees to the chest, maybe rocking side to side, rotating the ankles, wiggling the toesies. Very good. So next you are going to want a pillow and 2 blocks, or 3 pillows if you don't have the blocks. So we're doing inclined bound angle here. I'm going to take my pillow for my head and 2 blocks. So lying back down, bringing the soles of the feet together. And then you're going to play with how you're supporting those legs. So the legs are bent, the legs are wide, soles of the feet touch. Using your pillows to support those thighs and prop them up a little bit. I'm using my blocks. So again, the idea here is to place them underneath your body so you feel fully supported, and you can just relax into the stretch with 0 effort and no straining. So this is nice for the hips and the groin and your thigh. Feel free to keep the arms down at your sides. Sometimes I find it grounding to have my hands on my belly or my hips. If you would like to be reminded of staying with your yogic breath, sometimes it's nice to have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And as you allow the restorative posture to do its good work for you, just noticing the breath. Noticing how on the inhale, your belly fills up like a balloon and the chest rises. And then noticing on the exhale how everything falls and softens. Creating space between the back teeth to avoid tension in the jaw. Softening between your eyebrows, softening at the temples. Noticing the area where your shoulders and your neck meet. See if you can soften there too. Taking a soft, slow inhale. As you exhale, gently releasing the posture, removing the blocks or the pillows from underneath your thighs. We will be staying on our backs for this next one, a supine or spinal twist. So for this, you will need a block or a pillow if you don't have blocks. So straightening your right leg, then bringing your left knee up, bending it, then drawing it across the body, placing the block underneath that knee or a blanket or a pillow, doesn't matter. You're gonna feel free to take time to pause here and figure out what works well for you. So you should feel something, a definite stretching in the lower back. Feel free to goal post the arms or just leave them out at your sides. Then play with maybe shimmying your right shoulder a little bit to the right. That might deepen the stretch, which might be what you need, or it might not be what you need, and then you can shimmy it back. So once again, allowing our bodies to settle into the posture. If you feel any strain here, I encourage you to use your props to find a little more height to keep that bent leg or that top leg supported. If you would like to intensify the twist, if it feels okay in your neck, feel free to turn your head, your gaze to the left as the left knee stays dropped and over to the right. Hi, kitty. Sometimes my cat comes around when I'm doing yoga or meditating. So. Hi. Taking an inhale here. As you exhale, roll back over onto the back. Feel free here to become knock-kneed here. Feet are wide, and then just gently take a windshield wiper-like motion here before we go and do this, the twist on the other side. Really good for the lower back and the hips. So, grabbing your pillows or your blanket or your block. Left leg goes long this time, right leg bends. Inhaling here. As you exhale, take that right leg, draw it across the body, propping up that right knee with your block or your blankets, playing around with it until you find some nice support with that prop. Goal post arms once again this time. If you want to deepen or intensify, maybe you turn the head to the right. Play with shimmying that left shoulder to the left or not, and then settle in. Closing the eyes or finding a soft gaze, returning your awareness to your breath. Hello, kitty, you need to go away. Hi. Okay, taking a nice inhale here. As you exhale, rolling back onto the back once again, hugging the knees to the chest. Feel free to rock side to side. And then we'll need to come up to a seated position. So I like to gently massage out the spine, rocking up and down the length of the spine to make my way up. So our final posture is a reclined Shavasana. Some people also call it Queen's pose. So for this posture, you'll need at least one of those folded blankets. If you have those Mexican blankets too, those like thinner knit blankets, those also work well. But you'll need the blanket and at least one or two pillows to prop up the blanket. So I'll demonstrate with my bolster, which again would be your folded blanket, if that's what you have at home. So you want the head to be elevated here. So you can prop it up with pillows underneath, or I use my block. You can play with the height here, okay, putting it the longest way. So you do you figure that out. There you go. I like to have mine at the tallest height. So you want to then bring the base of your spine to the base of the bolster. Okay, so your lower back or your tailbone will be on the ground. Your tailbone and your butt should not be on top of the bolster at all. Then gently lean back. Allow the knees to come together and then settle in. I invite you to roll the shoulder blades back. Arms can be down at your sides, or again, sometimes it's nice to have the hands on the belly. This is a really nice way to stretch out the chest, the pecs, and get a nice heart opener. It's nice for the shoulders too, but without effort or strain. Returning your awareness to your breath once again, settling into the posture. When I do a restorative practice, if I'm teaching in a studio, typically I like to have some soft music on that does not have words. So piano is nice, or Native American flute music is nice. So find what works for you. Taking an inhale. As you exhale, finding gentle movement Turning the head side to side. Wiggling the fingers, the toes. Being in no rush to move or to transition. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana or reclined position as long as you would like. I want to thank you for exploring a restorative yoga practice with me. I hope you found it calming and relaxing and healing, and found that you were able to practice using things that you had at home if you don't have yoga props. So if you are ending your practice now, bringing your hands to your heart center, maybe allowing the chin to fall towards the chest. I'd like to thank you for taking time to nurture your body, mind, and spirit with me today. The love and light that's in me honors and sees the love and the light that's in you. Namaste. And thank you.